Yeah, good morning, YouTube. It is your boy Za. But anyway, man, for the people that are new to the channel, man, hopefully you like, you subscribe, hit the bell for all notification, and understand that this channel is going to be somewhat controversial, not in the way that it was before, but I will cover certain things. And I know some of the people that are looking at the title are like already upset at the fact that I'm saying free Andrew Tate, and I say that for a reason, and I'll get to the reason why I say that. But for those of the fair sex that don't necessarily believe that he's innocent, you know, you're entitled to your opinion, you know, but in the court of law, it's supposed to be you're innocent until proven guilty. And for the people of the fair sex that actually support Andrew Tate because they know the real, kudos to you. Either way, whether you support him or you don't, you know, as a female, you have the right to feel some sort of way. Now, I'm not going to get on here and I'm not going to slander a man that there's no real indisputable proof that he actually took place in this. I mean, they had text messages and him speaking as if he was that man, but he never once said anything that could be considered damning, you know what I mean? And just to, you know, go off, now I won't say veer off course, but the whole reason the Romanians are on him the way they are, for one, they're money hungry. The Romanians, there's always been corrupt police and corrupt politicians in that country, and no shot at you, because hopefully one day I'll get a chance to visit, but for the most part this is all a political grab. It's like you know, there was a lot of things that were left out of the police report. You know, for one thing, the Romanians at one time did go after Andrew Tate because of two females that in the end turned out to say that it was all fabricated, and that, you know, and not necessarily fabricated, but they whatever the police thought happened didn't happen. Plain and simple. They felt like they didn't want to give up. Everybody knows the guy that's going after them, I'll say the district attorney or whatever they call him in that country, tends to go after high profile people. He goes after mobsters and things of that nature. But I mean, at the end of the day, when people are money hungry and they're looking for that notoriety and to get ahead in their career, they're gonna go at the big fish. But for the most part, we all know that a lot of them are corrupt anyway. And I'll tell you, this is what makes absolutely no sense. The people that you said were being held hostage and against their will and that were being sex trafficked said no, that is not true. Then you raid the house for the second time. They go in. The women that supposedly barricaded themselves in the room actually had the keys to the room sitting on their dresser. The cops left that out. I wonder why. And the first thing they do is want to seize cars and any assets that they can get. This is a power grab. This is people that are hungry for all types of. They're basically trying to, you know, discredit him and take everything that he has, if simply for the fact that they're greedy. And I think it's election time, and they're trying to, you know, set an example. You know what I mean? And who other than Andrew Tate is better to set an example with? For one thing, people consider him extremely misogynistic. People think, you know, as far as like his exploits, you know, some people find it distasteful. And then other things is people hate the fact that dude speaks about what he knows, especially when it comes to this whole Matrix thing. And for the most part, we are in the Matrix, you know, without certain government taking care of us, you know, providing milk, providing this, providing that, we wouldn't even know how to take care of ourselves unless we're some sort of survivalist. And those are only a few amongst the many that are able to take care of themselves and live outside the grid. And even then, if you do decide to live outside the grid, the government is not gonna allow that, because at some point they will. It's like the one guy, I think he stays somewhere in Georgia or one of those states back south. He made a whole water system and creating his own electricity, and just dude was like I won't say a scientist, but he was real savvy when it came to engineering things and when it came to science. And the government found a way, even though it was his property, they found a way to make him tear it down. If they used words such as, you know, it's environmentally this, it's environmentally that, it's against you know, state this, state that. Basically, they didn't want him to get outside of the matrix, and anybody that moves outside the matrix, there's automatically a fabrication of everything. If you decide to take your property and make it a compound, they want to know what's going on in your compound. You may have never had anything on your books that said that you participate in any type of eco-terrorism, any type of terrorism, any type of secular anything. You know what I mean? But they need to know what's going on behind those doors, because it's within their best interest, they assume. They don't want you living off the grid, plain and simple. And this is what happened with Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate was exposing a lot, and he was exposing the way of doing things, and they decided to shut him down. He said it. I said in a prior video, there's 3 deaths on social media. First, they get you banned and ostracized. Then they get you incarcerated by fabricating whatever they need to do to get you out the way. And we all know that's what happens on the street for anybody that grew up in the ghetto or any type of urban environment. What they do is, when you become an issue, something that could possibly affect the way that they live, they come up with things in order to get you out the way. Prime example, when I was allegedly selling dope on the street in the valley, you know, they tried everything to get me off. You know, I got busted for sales and this and that and whatever, and they still couldn't pin it on me. I still did time for it, but they couldn't necessarily pin it on me. They had to drop it to sales of in lieu of, which is fake dope, which what they found was not fake, but the way they fabricated it, you know, whatever, they couldn't get me for it, even with observation. I mean, observing movement, whatever. What I'm saying is, they will fabricate stuff. My probation officer was sitting right next to a cop when the cop told me that there's multiple ways to get you up off this street. And basically he was like, and not even basically, this is what it came out of his mouth, there's always a way to get you off the street. Like, we can just put a gun on you and that would get you off the street. I turned around and told my probation officer, like, look, is this dude like serious? You sitting right next to him and he's saying this. See, but this is the type of stuff when people feel a threat, or not even a threat, but you just moving a little bit too and they don't like it, they look for ways to get you off the street. Some people life have been lost just due to the fact of cops wanting to get them out of the way. That's when you face opposition in life, a lot of times you do away with it, you know what I mean? But anyways, back to Tate. Social media, banned, ostracized, calling you a misogynistic, racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic. That's what they do to get you off. Any angle they can do to make everybody, you know, they do it. Second, they fabricate stuff. Sorry, my allergies. They fabricate things. They get you up. They get you out the way, put you in jail, and if you happen to beat it, and you still don't keep your mouth shut, then you come up missing. Everybody knows about that. Like, it's been going on since the dawn of time. Do too much, come up missing. And that's what they're doing to Andrew Tate right now. Look at all the evidence. Yeah, you might find some evidence that you consider damning, but if you're being held against your will, yeah, he may have, you know, exploited them in certain ways as far as like when it comes to money. But as far as like keeping somebody against their will, like, you know, when you're keeping somebody against your will, you're falsely imprisoning people. You don't leave keys in their room to where they can go in and out. These females barricaded themselves in the room for other reasons, and it was stated, but I digress. It's one of those things that we're going to have to sit back and see how it plays out in trial. But just really do your research before you pass judgment on these dudes. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, this is their livelihood. This is their, you know, excuse me. I think the only thing Andrew Tate is guilty of having a big ego. That's it. But a lot of people are boisterous. Some people are boisterous because it draws attention to what they want to draw attention to. 6ix9ine does it all the time. You know, he says things, he interjects himself in other scenarios because people focus on him. When he's outside of the news and nobody's really talking about him, he comes in, he interjects, and then bam, everybody's focused on 6ix9ine again. You know, or he'll do some charity thing, you know, give out money, or, you know, and he's constantly doing things to stay relevant. And Andrew Tate just happens to be one of those dudes that have motivated a lot of people. And it's true. You know, he may have a misogynistic view in a sense, depending on who you talk to, but he also motivates people to get up, to work out, to go out and get that money, and he makes people want to strive to be better. Plain and simple. Outside of all the, you know, anti-women rhetoric, and not even anti-women, but just telling certain females exactly what type of females they are, that's the only thing I guess people would consider him guilty for. But as far as like being a good motivator and getting people, you know, to want to live his life as far as like his cars and get the money and just have that sort of notoriety without the negative aspects of it, yeah, so he's doing his part, and hopefully he rises up out that cage when they realize that the evidence that they got is flimsy, and when they see that they're only doing it for a certain reason. But you also got to realize when you're dealing with these type of countries, the laws that may apply out here where it's more stringent, they're really dig deep to make sure that they're not making a mistake in certain cases. In countries like that, they're just gonna hang you at the end of the day. And I don't necessarily mean hang you, but they're gonna hang you as far as judicially, because it's in their best interest. They want to keep his cars, they want to seize all this money, and it's funny that after he went at it with that one female, all of a sudden he's being attacked again. Not only that country, but you know, there's a lot of females that want to get him out the way because they hate the fact that it was straight out. The same as Samuel. You know, he was larger than life, and he called it how he see it, and females hated it. Even Vivica Fox, dumbass, celebrated his death, which is, she's an old crone anyway. After 50 just dumped her and sent her on about her way. She's been basically scrounging her way through yeah, you know, it's sad that we are now at that point to where the only real way to get at each other is to strike out, you know, fabricate stories. A lot of women have been known to say what dudes have did to them and then turn out to be fabricated, but it don't matter. Emmett Till and all them, like, you got to really look at, you know, it's not the playing field, even though they say it's a man's world, but it's not equal. We're not on the same playing field. A man could go tell you a female raped them and nothing's gonna happen, because males don't do that. A female can go say it and it'll be a bald-faced lie, but it will go through because people are, you know, they feel sensitive towards, yeah. Anyway, man, free Andrew Tate. For the people that's hating on him, man, you got to really do your research. And I know there's a lot of big channels that are hating on him, but it's to be expected because most of these guys are just looking for the views anyway. They don't necessarily have no opinion either way. And for and it's funny because a lot of these guys are probably doing what he's, you know, that what he's fucking facing. But whatever. You guys enjoy the day. Like I said, for the people that support me, man, thank you. Hopefully you continue to follow. And with that being said, I'm your boy Zah, and I'm out.